Gentlemen, I want you to consider something deeply personal yet profoundly powerful. The choice to keep aspects of your life private. We live in a world that demands exposure, that rewards those who broadcast every triumph, every failure, every fleeting emotion. But I urge you to pause and ask yourself, is this truly beneficial, or is it a subtle form of self-sabotage? Today, I want to walk you through 8 key reasons why keeping your life private can lead to a more fulfilling, stable, and powerful existence. One of the greatest dangers of oversharing is the unsolicited judgment that inevitably follows. The moment you reveal personal details, whether about your relationships, finances, struggles, or aspirations, you open yourself up to a flood of opinions, critiques, and sometimes outright condemnation. We live in an age where people feel entitled to voice their thoughts on everything, regardless of whether they are informed, qualified, or even well-intentioned. The problem isn't just that people will judge you, it's that their judgment will influence how you see yourself. The human mind, no matter how strong, is susceptible to doubt when exposed to external negativity repeatedly. Imagine a young woman who dreams of starting her own business. In her excitement, she shares her plans with everyone, family, friends, social media followers, but instead of encouragement, she receives a mixture of skepticism and condescension. Are you sure you can handle this? What if you fail? Don't you think this is too risky? Over time, these comments start to weigh her down. She begins to question herself. Doubt creeps in where confidence once resided, and before she even takes the first step, she has already lost momentum. Contrast this with another individual who keeps their plans private, sharing only with a trusted mentor or a few close supporters. This person is shielded from unnecessary negativity. They can work on their vision without being constantly second-guessed or discouraged by the opinions of those who do not share their ambition. Another important aspect of judgment is how it shapes your identity. When too many people know about your struggles, you risk becoming defined by them. If you openly share your personal battles, whether financial difficulties, past mistakes, or emotional hardships, you invite people to form perceptions of you based on those vulnerabilities. And people rarely forget. Even if you outgrow those struggles, their memory of you remains frozen in time, colored by the details you shared in your weakest moments. This is particularly evident in social media culture, where individuals post raw, emotional content during moments of pain or frustration. While vulnerability can be powerful in the right context, it can also become a trap. Once you have exposed your wounds to the public, they are no longer just yours, they become a part of how others perceive you. And often, people do not allow you to evolve beyond those perceptions. Look at celebrities or influencers who have shared too much of their personal lives. The public remembers their lowest moments far more than their greatest achievements. Even years after they have grown, the world continues to associate them with their past missteps. This is why discretion is wisdom. When you keep your life private, you give yourself the space to change, evolve, and overcome challenges without being constantly reminded of where you started. You are free to grow without the weight of external expectations and labels. You are no longer bound by how others see you because they simply do not have enough information to define you in the first place. There is a reason why the most influential figures in history have always carried an air of mystery. People are naturally drawn to what they do not fully understand. When you are too transparent about your thoughts, feelings, and plans, you lose a certain level of intrigue and with it, an element of power. Think about a compelling character in a movie or novel. The ones who capture our attention the most are often those who reveal little about themselves. Their silence, their unpredictability. It keeps us engaged. We lean in, eager to uncover more. Now apply this to real life. The moment you become an open book, you remove that sense of curiosity. Consider 2 professionals working in the same field. One shares every detail about their work, their strategies, their challenges. The other speaks little but delivers powerful results. Over time, the latter gains more respect, not necessarily because they are more skilled, but because they carry an aura of quiet competence. Their actions speak louder than their words. People wonder about their methods, their mindset, and their next move. That mystery commands respect. The same principle applies to relationships, whether in dating, friendships, or professional circles. People are naturally more drawn to those who do not reveal everything too quickly. If you disclose too much about yourself upon first meeting someone, you leave no room for intrigue. But when you hold back, when you allow information to unfold over time, you create a sense of depth. Others become more invested in getting to know you because there is still more to discover. Mystery also serves as a form of protection. When people do not know everything about you, they cannot easily manipulate or sabotage you. In contrast, those who are overly transparent often become targets for exploitation. If you openly share your weaknesses, someone with ill intentions can use that against you. If you broadcast your aspirations before they materialize, competitors can work against you before you even have a chance to execute your plans. A powerful example of this is seen in business and politics. The most strategic leaders do not reveal their next moves before they are executed. They operate behind the scenes, making calculated decisions, and only announce their plans when they are already in motion. By the time the public hears about their actions, it is too late for opposition to interfere. This is the essence of moving in silence. On a personal level, maintaining an element of mystery also helps preserve your emotional energy. The more you share, the more you invite unnecessary discussions, explanations, and debates. Every piece of information you reveal demands additional effort to defend or clarify, but when you keep things private, you conserve that energy for what truly matters: your growth, your goals, and your well-being. Now, some may argue that withholding information is a sign of dishonesty or avoidance, but that is not the case. Privacy is not about secrecy, it is about selectivity. It is about knowing what to share, when to share it, and with whom. Not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of your life, and not everything needs to be publicly acknowledged in order to be meaningful. In a world that constantly demands exposure, those who master the art of discretion hold a distinct advantage. They navigate life with a sense of control, maintaining the upper hand in both personal and professional interactions. They understand that mystery is not just about intrigue, it is about power, and those who harness it wisely will always remain a step ahead. When you keep your life private, you create a protective barrier around your emotions. In today's world, where people are quick to share their triumphs, struggles, and opinions with the world, emotional stability becomes increasingly fragile. The more you expose your personal matters, your joys, your pain, your aspirations, the more external forces influence your inner world. Imagine a person who shares every intimate detail of their life on social media. They post about their career ambitions, their relationships, their personal struggles. Every piece of information becomes an open invitation for feedback. But what happens when the response isn't what they expected? What happens when their excitement about a new job is met with cynicism? When their vulnerability about a personal challenge is dismissed or ridiculed? They become emotionally entangled in the reactions of others, constantly seeking validation and approval, rather than developing true inner peace. Now contrast that with someone who moves in silence. They work towards their goals without broadcasting them. They process their emotions privately or with a small, trusted circle. Their happiness isn't dependent on likes, comments, or external approval. Their struggles aren't magnified by public scrutiny. Instead, they cultivate a sense of peace that isn't easily shaken by the opinions of others. There's a psychological concept called locus of control, which refers to the degree to which people believe they have control over the outcomes in their lives. People with an external locus of control depend on others to validate their choices, and they are easily swayed by external factors. On the other hand, those with an internal locus of control trust their own judgment and remain stable despite outside opinions. Keeping your life private strengthens your internal locus of control. It allows you to make decisions based on your own wisdom rather than the ever-changing judgments of others. Consider a professional athlete training for a championship. If they constantly seek external opinions about their progress, they might become discouraged by critics or overconfident from praise. But if they stay focused, working in silence, they maintain emotional balance. They are not riding the highs of admiration or the lows of doubt. They are steady, consistent, and mentally strong. The same applies to personal relationships. A couple that keeps their love life private avoids unnecessary drama. They do not invite outsiders to dissect their relationship. They do not seek validation from strangers. Instead, they build a foundation of trust and stability away from the public eye. In contrast, couples who frequently share intimate details online often find themselves caught in unnecessary conflicts, influenced by opinions that should never have been considered in the first place. Your emotions are valuable. Your inner peace is sacred. When you guard your life with discretion, you create a sense of emotional stability that cannot be easily disrupted. And in a world that thrives on distraction and chaos, that stability is an unmatched strength. The more people know about your life, the easier it is for them to manipulate or exploit you. Information is power. And when you freely give away personal details, your weaknesses, your plans, your insecurities, you are unknowingly handing others the tools they need to control you. Think about a chess game. The player who reveals their strategy too early is at a disadvantage. The opponent can anticipate their moves, counter them effectively, and ultimately take control of the game. Life operates in much the same way. When you are too open about your thoughts, feelings, and intentions, you allow others to predict your actions, influence your decisions, and in some cases use your own information against you. Consider a workplace scenario. An employee openly shares with their colleagues that they are planning to apply for a promotion. Some may genuinely support them, but others, perhaps competitors for the same position, may use that information to their advantage. They might subtly undermine their efforts, spread doubt among higher-ups, or position themselves strategically to block their advancement. Had the employee kept their aspirations private and moved strategically, their chances of success would have been significantly higher. Manipulation isn't always overt. Sometimes it comes in the form of subtle influence. People who know your emotional triggers can use them to sway your decisions. If you have openly shared that you struggle with self-doubt, an ill-intentioned person may use that knowledge to undermine your confidence at critical moments. If you've expressed a deep desire for approval, someone may manipulate you by offering praise only when it serves their own agenda. In personal relationships, oversharing can be equally dangerous. A manipulative partner, friend, or even family member may use your vulnerabilities to control your actions. If they know what makes you feel guilty, they can play on that emotion to get their way. If they know your deepest fears, they can use them to keep you in check. History offers countless examples of leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries who understood the power of discretion. The most influential individuals do not reveal their every move before it is executed. They keep their negotiations, their strategies, and their decisions private until the right moment. And because of that, they maintain control. There is also a financial aspect to this. Sharing too much about your financial status, whether wealth or struggle, can make you a target. If people believe you have more than them, they may attempt to take advantage of your generosity. If they believe you have less, they may treat you with less respect or assume you are desperate. In either case, your financial privacy gives you leverage. Even on a social level, keeping your personal life private helps you maintain power over your narrative. When people do not have full access to your thoughts and choices, they are forced to rely on observation rather than assumption. And in most cases, this works in your favor. There is an old saying, move in silence and let success make the noise. When you understand the value of privacy, you take control of your own story. You reduce the risk of being manipulated, outplayed, or used as a pawn in someone else's agenda. You remain the master of your fate. Privacy isn't just about avoiding external interference. It's about creating the mental space necessary to focus on what truly matters. The more you expose your life to others, the more distractions you invite. Every comment, every opinion, every unsolicited piece of advice forces you to divide your attention. And in a world where focus is already a scarce resource, that division is costly. Imagine two individuals working toward the same goal. Let's say they both aspire to start their own business. The first person keeps their plans private, sharing only with a trusted few. They quietly research, strategize, and take action. Every ounce of energy is directed toward execution. The second person, however, announces their intentions to everyone they know. They receive an influx of opinions, some encouraging, some doubtful, some outright dismissive. They now feel the pressure to constantly update others on their progress, explain their choices, and respond to criticism. Their focus, which should have been on building, is now scattered across managing external perceptions. The difference in outcomes is predictable. The first person moves with clarity and precision. Their energy isn't drained by unnecessary conversations or debates. They are free to make decisions without the weight of public expectation. The second person, on the other hand, becomes entangled in the noise of external voices. They may hesitate to make bold moves, fearing judgment. They may shift their strategy to appease others rather than following their own intuition. They may even abandon their dream altogether, overwhelmed by opinions that never should have mattered in the first place. Science backs this up. Studies on cognitive load and decision fatigue show that the more choices and distractions a person has to manage, the more their mental energy is depleted. Each time you engage with unnecessary feedback or justify your actions to others, you are using up cognitive resources that could have been applied toward meaningful work. Consider the world's most successful individuals. Entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, visionaries, they all have one thing in common: an intense ability to focus. And that focus is not achieved by accident. It is cultivated through discipline and discretion. They are not wasting time defending their dreams to skeptics. They are not explaining their methods to those who have no stake in their success. They are working quietly, relentlessly, with an unwavering commitment to their mission. Keeping your life private isn't about secrecy for the sake of secrecy. It's about creating an environment where your energy is fully aligned with your goals. It's about eliminating distractions before they have a chance to derail you. It's about giving yourself the best possible conditions for productivity and success. If you want to achieve something great, resist the urge to announce it. Work in silence. Let your results speak for themselves. Because in the end, the only validation that truly matters is the one that comes from your own progress. Envy is an emotion as old as humanity itself. The moment you reveal something desirable about your life, your achievements, your happiness, your ambitions, you trigger a range of reactions in others. Some will be inspired, some will celebrate with you, but others, often without even realizing it, will feel resentment. There is a reason why many cultures have ancient beliefs about the evil eye, the idea that being seen too much, being admired too much can bring misfortune. While this may sound superstitious, the psychological truth behind it is undeniable. Human beings by nature compare themselves to others. When someone perceives you as having more than them, whether it's success, love, confidence, or opportunities, it can stir feelings of inadequacy. And when those feelings fester, they often turn into negative energy directed at you. This negativity doesn't always come in obvious forms. Rarely will someone say outright, "I am envious of you." Instead, it manifests in subtle ways. A friend who used to support you starts making passive-aggressive comments about your success. A coworker begins downplaying your achievements or spreading doubt about your abilities. A family member suddenly becomes distant or critical without clear reason. In extreme cases, envy can escalate into sabotage. Think of the workplace. An employee who is open about their upcoming promotion may find unexpected resistance from colleagues who secretly wanted the same position. In personal relationships, friendships have been destroyed simply because one person couldn't handle the other's happiness. A famous example comes from the entertainment industry. Celebrities often struggle with the pressure of being constantly watched and judged. Some handle it well, but others find themselves overwhelmed by the negativity that comes with fame. The same dynamic applies to anyone who puts their life on public display, whether on social media in their social circles, or in their professional network. But here's the good news. You have control over how much access others have to your life. By keeping your successes private, you reduce the likelihood of becoming a target for envy. You move in a way that minimizes unnecessary tension. You allow yourself to thrive without the added burden of managing others' emotions. This doesn't mean you should never share anything with anyone. It means being selective. It means knowing the difference between those who genuinely support you and those who might secretly resent you. It means understanding that not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. There's a profound sense of peace that comes from living under the radar. When people don't know the details of your life, they can't interfere, they can't project their insecurities onto you, they can't undermine what they don't see. This is why some of the most powerful and successful people in the world cultivate an air of mystery. They understand that discretion is a form of protection. They know that by keeping their lives private, they are shielding themselves from unnecessary negativity. So the next time you feel the urge to share a personal victory, ask yourself, is this something I truly want to share, or am I seeking validation? Will this announcement add value to my life, or will it invite unnecessary energy, good or bad? Because in the end, your success, your happiness, your growth, these things are not dependent on public recognition. They are yours and yours alone. And sometimes the greatest power comes from keeping them that way. In an era where oversharing has become the norm, emotional stability is increasingly rare. The more you expose your life to public scrutiny, the more vulnerable you become to external influence, both positive and negative. Keeping your life private is not about hiding, it's about preserving your inner world from unnecessary chaos. Think about the moments when you felt truly at peace. It was probably in solitude or in the company of a select few who genuinely understand you. Now, contrast that with moments when your mind was disturbed, perhaps after receiving an unsolicited opinion, dealing with gossip, or feeling the pressure to perform for an audience. These disturbances don't arise from within you. They are reactions to external forces. The more you allow those forces into your personal life, the more your emotional stability is at risk. Consider someone who shares every relationship update online. They post about their love life, the highs, the lows, the milestones. In doing so, they invite a mix of responses: admiration, jealousy, unsolicited advice, and even criticism. When things are going well, they feel validated, but when challenges arise, they suddenly have an audience witnessing their struggles. Every disagreement, every moment of doubt becomes amplified because it is now subject to public opinion. Now imagine the alternative, someone who keeps their relationship private. When they face challenges, they address them directly without external interference. Their problems are resolved between the people involved, not in the court of public opinion. Their victories are cherished in intimacy, not as performances for validation. The result? A sense of calm, a stability that is not dependent on the fluctuating judgments of others. Psychological research supports this. Studies show that excessive social comparison, often triggered by sharing personal details, leads to increased anxiety and decreased self-esteem. When you constantly expose your life, you open yourself to both praise and criticism, both of which can be destabilizing. Praise creates pressure to maintain an image. Criticism, even when untrue, plants seeds of doubt. By keeping your life private, you shield yourself from these emotional disturbances. You retain control over your narrative, your emotions, and your mental peace. Your sense of self-worth comes from within, not from the fleeting approval or disapproval of others. Ironically, keeping your life private can actually strengthen your relationships rather than weaken them. True connection isn't built on public display, it's built in moments of sincerity, trust, and mutual respect. When you share every detail of your relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, you dilute their significance. The sacred nature of these connections is compromised when they are constantly on display. Real intimacy thrives in privacy. Consider a romantic relationship. When two people keep their love private, their connection is based on genuine emotions, not on how it appears to outsiders. They do not seek validation through likes and comments. They seek fulfillment in each other. They resolve conflict privately without interference. They build a foundation of trust that is not influenced by external opinions. Contrast this with a couple that constantly shares their relationship online. The dynamic changes. They may feel pressure to present an idealized version of their relationship, hiding struggles for the sake of appearances. When problems arise, they may turn to their audience for validation rather than addressing issues directly. In extreme cases, public exposure can even invite unwanted attention, leading to insecurity and distrust. Friendships, too, are affected by privacy. A friendship that is based on constant public acknowledgement, tagging each other in posts, broadcasting every interaction, often lacks depth. Real friendships are built in private conversations, in moments of vulnerability that are not meant for public consumption. Even family relationships benefit from discretion. When you share too much about family dynamics, you invite opinions from those who do not understand the complexities of your situation. This can create unnecessary tension, misunderstandings, and even conflict. Some things are meant to be resolved within the family, not in the public eye. The strongest relationships are those that do not need validation from the outside world. They exist and thrive because of mutual understanding, not external approval. By keeping your relationships private, you protect them. You allow them to grow organically, free from external pressures. You create a space where authenticity, trust, and deep connection can flourish. At the heart of it, privacy is not about secrecy, it's about wisdom. It's about knowing what to share, when to share it, and with whom. The modern world encourages visibility, but there is a unique strength in discretion. By keeping certain aspects of your life private, you gain control, peace, and the ability to navigate your journey on your own terms. So, I ask you today, what areas of your life need more privacy? Where have you given away too much, and at what cost? Perhaps, just perhaps, the path to a more powerful life is not in revealing more, but in revealing less.